Hey, how's it going? So I am in the process of testing the primary injectors in RX7. Now, I thought this would be pretty simple to do. Looked on, some sites, YouTube, found people who are like, yeah, just take your injector, get an injector tester, attach a tube to the top of the injector, and then basically connect that to a can of carb cleaner. Run the injector tester, hit the pressurize the can, the nozzle, and then you'll see a stream pattern if the injector is working right, if it's clogged or whatever. It cleans it at the same time. So I was like, great, let's do that. Well, I pulled off the injector, and the RX7 injectors are kind of like a side. The input of the fuel is from the sides, and the actual injector housing itself is not from the top. So there's no way to do that method as easy and as nice as that sounds. So I pretty much was like, okay, now what? So let me just show you what I did and what I'm gonna do to basically test the injectors. Okay, so here's the issue. I have pretty much stock lines. I have this other fuel dampener. This is the primaries, and then this is of course connected to the secondary fuel rail like this, right? So basically, because I'm using this all stock setup, these stock rails here, these hard rails that go out to the over here where all the fueling runs, you can't get this primary rail like twisted up or do something with it that would even allow you to test. So and I'll show you what I mean on the injectors themselves. So if you look at the injector, these little screens up here is where the fuel actually comes into the bowl and then gets shot out there, right? You cannot do it from the top. Maybe if you have a special tool or something, I don't know, but that's not going to work. So as you can see, the fuel fills up these bowls here in the primary rail, and then it gets sucked in there, and then, or pressurized I should say, and it gets shot out into the engine. So the only alternative really is either if you have enough hose that's flexible, you can pull the whole entire assembly out, turn it, and then put it into some kind of container, and then you can test it and actually see, with an actual pressurized fuel, how it works, if it works. But I can't do that. But I figured out a way that just might get us to work. So what I did was I took off the two bolts that go in here on this primary wall. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip this to 180. I'm not taking this out or anything. And what that's going to do, basically, is it's going to allow me to invert the primary rail itself. So when I reconnect this in the same configuration as the hoses, and I'm going to do the same thing to the dampener side, the injectors will be facing up and out. So that way I can run up the test leads to the injectors. I can reconnect the fuel system, pressurize it, and then run the test and see if they work or not. Now, just so you know, I did test the injectors harness, and I do have 12 volts coming to all of them, so I know I'm getting power. So I need to rule out if it's the injectors. Are the injectors flawed? Are they clogged? Like, who knows what. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, now we figure out a way to test the injectors to figure out what's going on. So here's what I'm going to do. Also, just for special mention, I have a new camera operator.
Hi.
She's my daughter. So here's what we have. This is a fuel injector tester. I picked this up from Amazon for like $30, and this basically just runs. You give it 12-volt power supply, and then basically what I did here is, as you see, I inverted the primary line so that I can see the bottom of the nozzle, and then I just put a bottle on the bottom of it just to see what's going on, and of course to capture the gas. So I also used I have a a sacrificial harness, and I cut a lead off of that, and I basically plug this lead into the injector, and then this lead runs over to the tester itself. So now what we can do is this tester will allow you to do a couple things. You can do short bursts, medium bursts, or just long pulsations, or you can just press the pulse button. So that will basically enable us to get the measurement of fuel coming out of there, and we can see if it's clogged or not. If it works, it'll answer all the questions. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pressurize the fuel, and then we'll run the test. Okay, so now I have fuel pressure in here. So I'm going to do a pulsation test on the tester to see what happens. Alright, so it looks like we have a stream. Okay, so basically we lost fuel pressure. The pump primed, but then of course the pressure dropped, and so we weren't seeing anything. So basically I do a medium pulse. Okay, so that's good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch it over to the other injector, and we'll do the same test. Okay, now we have it set up on the second injector, and we're going to run the test. The interesting thing is, when I just hook this up, I did not hear anything click. So I'm not even sure. Well, this might be our issue, basically. So let's try to pulse this and see what happens. And we are getting nothing. So nothing is going through this injector. So one more time, I'm going to just double check. The connections are good, and then I'll retest. Okay, I retested the connections. I noticed that you cannot hear the injector clicking at all when you power it up. It's just nothing, it's like it's dead. So I can even show you this. I can go to 1, hit pulse, nothing's happening. It's like it doesn't care. So I'm going to say right now, folks, that this could be the culprit. You could have a bad injector here. Okay, so I want to take a second to thank my camera operator. I'm sure you guys saw some cool special effects in this little run at this. So the good news is we figured out what could be the problem. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can find myself another injector, and then we'll go from there and see if we can get this thing to start. Alright, so thanks for watching, and when we get the injector worked out, we'll see the next episode. Thanks for watching. Bye.